What's up everybody, you're watching From WordPress to Statamic. My name is Michael. Today I want to start talking a little bit about AI. Now this is obviously the buzz these days, but I'd like to walk you through some of the stuff I'm working on with Statamic because I really think that Statamic is one of the best tools that we can have for leveraging AI for web development. I mean, obviously everything is in Markdown files and YAML files, so everything is there for our AI tools to discover, but there's some additional things that I think we can do to make things even better. And so I'm going to show you some of the things that I'm working on, and so let's dive right in. The first thing that I want to talk about is this add-on that I've got on the screen here, Statamic Boost. This is a great tool for exposing to our AI tools what's going on here. So I'm just going to bring up, you can see in the vendor folder here on the right side, this core.blade.php file is basically just explaining to our AIs what Statamic is and how everything is organized. There's even a version 6 there to just explain what's different, maybe from previous versions. So this makes things easy to discover and gives some nice conventions for, writing antlers and what the YAML format is for things and how a collection works and field types and all that kind of thing. So I think this is a super valuable add-on to add to all of your projects if you're going to be working with AI. Now, let's dive into the dashboard for my test install here. And I'm going to show you some things that I've done on top of this inside of my starter kit that I haven't quite published yet, but it will be coming soon, so that we can level up our use of AI inside of our Statamic projects. Now, one thing that I've done is up here in the files, I've added this conventions.blade.php, which is kind of jumping off from what's in the boost. And this is explaining more specifically stuff that's inside of my kit. In addition, this comes with some artisan commands that I'll walk through in just a few minutes. But you can see here that I have a structure that I'm enforcing for how I'm doing my field set naming. And I also have the concept of a page builder explained right in here so that I can enforce some rules for my page builder and that the AI is aware of it out of the box. And this is all just going to be in place so that it's aware of my naming conventions and will stick with them all the time, and will give me some tools to enforce them later on using those artisan commands. But the first thing that I've done is I've looked at my field sets, and I've had my AI tools help normalize the names of the fields. If you've seen past videos and we've looked at these field sets, the naming of them isn't necessarily consistent. But here you can see that everything is nice and alphabetical. I've got these callout content group prefixes that explain what all these field sets are for. This is also going to be the convention that we're going to use inside of our other components that might use these to compose them. For example, if I go into my builder here, which is what we're talking about in the page builder concept over here on the right, you can see that all of the field groups in here are pulling in one of the field sets that's defined in the main set here. There's nothing actually unique in here, and this is one of the rules that's enforced over here in my conventions, so that if I decide to start building something and adding fields in here, I can run one of my artisan commands and it'll audit this stuff and make sure I'm following the conventions and suggest some fixes or maybe do them for me. But in this case, I'm pulling in a field set for each thing so that maybe it's going to be reusable elsewhere and it's not just unique to my builder here. The other thing that I've done is I've got this components here inside the systems, and this is just a mirror of a collection. I've got my components collection here. Now, if I go take a look, this is a one-to-one mapping of all the field sets that I'm using in the page builder. So you can see we've got the 50-50 split, the accordion, the blog teaser, right? They all have this content prefix. So if I go back to my field sets, all the ones with this content prefix, these are the ones being used inside of that page builder. Now let's go look inside one. In here, I've added a bunch of field sets to basically describe when and where I'm going to use this component. So I've got my description, when to use it, when to avoid it, what are the expectations, right? This should be 3 to 8 items, ideally, that kind of thing. What it pairs with, maybe something should belong at the bottom of a page and have a particular thing come immediately before it, that sort of thing. So these are the rules that I can edit if I want. It doesn't necessarily belong in the conventions. I mean, you could do it there too, but here's a nice sort of user-friendly way to make this stuff editable and also discoverable at the same time, because as we discussed before, right, this is just text that's easy for our AI to discover. It's not in a database where it has to do a query to find anything like that. So this is one of the things that I think is leveling up my use of AI in my projects. Now, how can I demonstrate this? Let's go over here, and I'm going to run PHP artisan components audit. And it's going to go look through my stuff, and you can see this accordion contains a new set group replicator wrapper. So this doesn't have a meaningful name. So let's go look at that. So my field set, content accordion, let's go in there, accordion group. So it's right down here, this new set group. This is kind of a default name for a group of sets within a replicator. Now, my conventions explicitly say you need to have a meaningful name for it. So that is going to fail the audit, and it's going to flag that for me. So I could just fix this myself, or I could go to my AI tool and say, hey, there's this one that fails the audit. Go and fix it for me following the conventions. So, why don't we try that? Let's bring up Claude, for example. So I can say the accordion content group fails the components audit. So fix it for me. And see what it does. Okay, so it knows about it. It's going to rename it with something meaningful. There we go, accordion items. Yep, let's allow that. Okay, so let's run this again. And there we go. And as you can see, this is basically functioning sort of like a unit test. We have a standard to test against inside of my conventions, and my audit command here will just test all those things for me and make sure that we're following the conventions. Now, this is something you could also leverage inside of your deployment tools. So you can run this command when you're doing a build on Forge, or you can tie it into your Git integrations so that, like a pre-git commit hook or something, we can run this command and make sure before you actually commit your stuff, it's following the conventions. Now, because we got some very specific conventions about my page builder, the components, how everything is named, we can start throwing things at the AI tools if we want to have it, build pages for us according to the conventions that we have established. So, I could feed it a bunch of text, and it should be able to distinguish, which component is right for which piece of content, and be, and I can be really explicit about which components I want to use, for example. But I think we're going to look at that in my next video. But for now, I think this is a good place to end, so you can have a good place to start for your Statamic projects if you want to level up with AI. Now, as I mentioned before we sign off, my Cascadia Starter Kit is going to have a bunch of this stuff built into it. So if you're thinking about buying something that has this, this will come out pretty soon. I'll make a note of it, so I'll talk about it in my next video probably. Or you can follow me on Twitter, that kind of stuff, and there'll be links in the description. And if you haven't signed up for my email, the link is in the description as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.